Because as you can see, I am wearing a New Orleans Saints jersey now. I probably should have worn one that was up to date. This is my Jameis Winston jersey, but he was the Fox Sports kind of analyst type
He
person
was funny.
for the Super Bowl.
He was hilarious.
The Saints, the last team in the NFL to find a head coach, has finally found one. They didn't want to end up like a Jonathan Gannon in Arizona, where the Eagles had to give the Cardinals a couple third-round picks because they tampered with Jonathan Gannon's kind of Super Bowl run when they went to the Super Bowl in 2022. But now the Saints have waited. They've patiently waited for Kellen Moore. Now Kellen Moore's to the Saints. The 36-year-old QB, think about it. I'm going to give you a history on Kellen Moore, actually, and you tell me how crazy this sounds. He was the quarterback for the Lions in 2012 and 2014. Then he became the Cowboys QB in 2015 to 2017. Immediately after 2017, he became the QB coach for the Dallas Cowboys in 2018. Automatically became coach. The crazier thing after that, in 2019, he became the Cowboys offensive coordinator. That year, Dak Prescott had the best year of his career in 2019 under Kellen.
Yes.
He stayed there until 2022. He became the Chargers offensive coordinator in 23. And then we see he was the Eagles coordinator in 24, won the Super Bowl, and now he is in New Orleans with the New Orleans Saints. So there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Kellen Moore's decisions for New Orleans. I kind of want you just first talk about how good of a decision it was for Mickey to say, hey, look, we're going to take a longer process than we usually do to get a head coach, and we're going to get somebody young up and coming like Kellen Moore, and hopefully he can be someone like we've had in the past in Sean Payton as well. But I don't want to compare him to Sean Payton. I don't want to put that on him. I want him to compare him to himself and Kellen Moore. So after that, I want to talk about an important decision of Kellen Moore. But how do you take this head coaching hire?
I'm really happy for my old teammate. I really thought that the Saints were going to go into a different direction as far as hiring a veteran coach. Prime example of Mike McCarthy, or somebody like that. No disrespect. Um, but I'm very, very glad that Kellen's getting this opportunity. He earned it. He earned it with his work with Dak, to be honest with you. When Dak threw up those career numbers, his name was buzzing. His name was getting some chirps. Then you go to Philadelphia. You win a Super Bowl, and you literally, have an offense where offense puts up ridiculous numbers. It's only right that he gets his opportunity, gets his time to be a chance to be, the guy. I do like the hire. Now, the interesting aspect is, and the number one question is, what are you going to do at the quarterback position? That's the question. That is the $1 million question. You sign the coach. Now, you have to address the most important, position on the team, and that's quarterback. What are you going to do with Derek Carr? And what's the direction going to be with this offense and whatnot? And it depends on his coaching staff, who he brings aboard, and who, again, offensive coordinator, if he going to call the plays, defensive coordinator. What's going to be the philosophy and the identity of this New Orleans Saints team?
I do want to put up Robbie's. It's very possible that the tables turn, like when he was in L.A. in 23. Brandon Staley will be his defensive coordinator in
Staley is
New Orleans,
one
which
hell of
I would not be upset with that at all. His head coach
B.
didn't go as well,
Staley
but
is
he's
a
been a great
really
coordinator.
hell of a coordinator.
So I'm not too upset about that. But you hit the nail on the head, Nate, with quarterback positioning. What does he do? You have Derek Carr, you have Jake Haener, and you have Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler just broke, it's not saying much, but he broke your quarterback rookie passing record this year, playing the 6 games he played. And I'm calling this the Derek Carr debacle because this is a very tough decision to make.
And you got to make
$54 million. You do have to make it. $54 million, you're over the cap in 2025. Do you want to guess how much of that is Derek Carr?
About 43 of it.
51. 51 million is Derek Carr. That's why you're so over the cap, Mickey. There's a way, there's a world where you could free up cap space. But it starts with this decision right here. I'm going to give you the breakdown of Derek Carr's contract in 2025. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it on the ticker down below. So Derek Carr in 2025, I do have a ticker. Base salary of $30 million. He's got a signing bonus of $11.5 million, a roster bonus of $10 million, and a guaranteed salary of $10 million. In this scenario, if the Saints were to wait post June 1st to cut Carr, they would only save $10 million. And because of the way everything works out, they would really only save $1 million towards salary. You don't save that much. So you pay him either way. If you cut him, you save $10 million, but you pay him $10 million in guaranteed salary this year. And then you pay him $18 million in guaranteed salary next year. So you take a hit next year if you cut him post June 1st. If you wait and let him play out this season, you will enter his void year next year, and you will be able to cut him for almost nothing.
I think you got to do that. You got to give him a chance.
But there is a world where you can trade Derek Carr. Now, he has a no-trade clause, but a lot of people think a no-trade clause means he can't be traded, which is false. You can still be traded with the no-trade clause. The only thing a no-trade clause states is the player can reject the trade proposal. He can't decide if he can be traded or not. He can only reject where he's being sent to. Now, he also had a no trade clause in Las Vegas when he got traded to the Saints.
Right.
And he didn't waive it then. So if he didn't waive it then, and the Saints find a partner to trade Derek Carr, the Saints would still have to pay him his signing bonus of $11.5 million for the year. They wouldn't have to pay him a roster bonus, and they would only have to pay him a guaranteed salary of $10 million. And the rest of that money gets pushed on to the next team. So you save $30 million by trading him. You save $10 million by cutting him. And then you have to pay him $18 million next year. Or you keep him for a year and then hit his void year next year and cut him then. So, Nate, I just gave you 3 options.
I'm going with
cut him, trade him, or keep him.
Keep him.
You tell me what to do.
Keep him. Unless you're going to trade, unless somebody's going to be, can give you something, or you're going to have to renegotiate that trade to see if, a team's probably going to expect you to pay majority of that salary. But then it's just one of those situations where, you know what? Let's keep him. Let's keep him. Let's see what he can do. Let's see what he's going to bring to the table, and whatnot. So keep him. Let him get a year with the new coordinator. With a new head coach. Let's see if they can, maybe light a fire under that ass and he, do something amazing. So that's my take, and yeah, that's how I feel.
Now you pay him just about every way this happens. I mean, if you trade him, you actually pay him the least amount of money.
Right.
But you still pay a little bit next year because he still has a signing bonus for
right.
Whatever. So, but that's the least amount of money you pay him. You cut him, you actually spend the most amount of money.
Okay.
But if you keep him for a year, you only have to hit that $51 million this year. I say only. If Mickey doesn't decide to restructure his contract into his void year, which I hope that does not happen, and then you cut him next year. You see how he plays out this year. If you don't like him, you cut him. Kellen Moore can go a different route. He can say, hey, I got a guy in this draft. I can pick him. This quarterback class is not deep whatsoever, but this draft class is. I don't think you draft a quarterback this draft. You have so much draft capital this draft. You have to use it wisely because you have so many needs on your team that you just won 5 games and got the number 9 pick in the NFL draft. You have more needs than just quarterback. Spencer Rattler's promising. Derek Carr is a veteran quarterback. I agree with you, Nate. I say you keep him this year and you wait until next year to try to get over the salary cap because next year it's very possible. if you try to get over the salary cap this year, you will be in a worse situation than you are in next year. That is the reason the Saints are in the hole, because they keep restructuring and pushing money back into the back of people's contracts. If you do that this year, which a lot of Saints fans do, I don't know why, because they want a solution now, and now it's got to be now. If you do that now, you will have more problems in the future than you could have ever possibly imagined. And then it makes it harder for a head coach like Kellen Moore to come in and fix an issue. And then you're going to be asking for his head.
You're right.
You have to either trade him or incur that $51 million this year and say adios next year. We're gone, and we're going to be in the positive next year. But if you restructure Mickey Loomis, listen to me. If you restructure Mickey Loomis, you will be in a bigger hole, and I'm going to be calling for your name like I have been the past couple of years.
Connor.
You got, it's a money's game, Nate. It's a money's game. When you're the worst team in the league in the money's game, you're not going to win anything. Eventually you got to swallow the pill that's given to you. You can't just keep pushing it off. If the pill's on Sunday, you better swallow that sucker on Sunday. You can't be pushing it off to the rest of the week. You're supposed to take a pill on Sunday. Take it on Sunday. Take your Derek Carr pill in 2025 and quit pushing it off to the rest of the week. When you take it, you're going to be in a nice situation next year. But because Saints fans are so spoiled because of the past couple years and the decades of Drew Brees and all this winning culture, they cannot stand to see a losing season. And if it's under 7 games, they want everybody's head and everybody out of New Orleans. But you got to realize, Rome wasn't built in one day.
Man. Okay. All right, Connor. All right, GM Connor.
Make me GM, Nate. Come on now. I'll make you a players personnel person. No, you don't want to work.
I want to ref.
Okay.
I want to officiate.
If you're reffing though, you have to we have to have a Chiefs refs relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So you can rig my games and I can make the Super Bowl.
Oh no. All right.
But Nate, you said you keep Carr. If you can find a trade partner for him.
Yeah, and we got to negotiate the terms of this trade.
What do we think Carr's worth?
It's not even worth what kind of draft pick can you get from him? You're not going to get nothing.
You got a third rounder for him in 2023.
You know, you're going to probably get a 5th or 6th rounder. If that's the case, I keep him because that NFC South is wide open. You can compete. There is no alpha in that division. I mean, given Tampa Bay has won the division the last 3 years in a row.
3, I think. 3 or 4.
Yeah. There's no – right now they're the baby alpha. They're the baby alpha. This division is winnable.
You don't think it's winnable with Spencer Rattler at quarterback?
You almost made me cuss. You just really almost made me cuss, and I don't need.
You think Derek Carr is the best chance the Saints have to win their division?
Yeah. Spencer Rattler, no. You really was about to make me cuss just now. Your mom and dad were probably gonna be like, Nate, and I'm like, whoa, mom and dad, no. No. What kind of blasphemy is that?